Good afternoon. I'm here once again to update the public concerning the currently available information regarding Saturday's tragic shooting. Homicide detectives have continued to work around the clock to gather information and more evidence. While we have uncovered some new information, there is still a great deal of investigation to be completed. This briefing serves to update the public on the recently verified new investigative information. First, we have confirmed that the shooter previously worked at a Dollar Tree store from October 21st, 2021 through July 2022 in the Oakleaf area. Additionally, we have discovered new facts regarding the shooter's movements and whereabouts hours and minutes before he committed his acts of senseless violence at Dollar General. At 11:39 a.m., the shooter was driving in his car in Clay County, headed towards Jacksonville. Investigators have learned that when the shooter arrived in Jacksonville, before he parked at Edward Waters University and outfitted himself with his tactical vest, he stopped at the Family Dollar store located at the intersection of Myrtle Avenue and Kings Road. Not only did the shooter park at the Family Dollar, he also went inside his store and bought some items. Coupled with this new information is surveillance footage showing the shooter's movements both at the Family Dollar and at Edward Waters University. I'll be sharing portions of that video footage with you shortly. First, I would like to detail the complete timeline of the newly discovered information pertaining to the shooter's movements earlier on Saturday before he committed these atrocities. On 8/26 of 2023, at 11:39 and 04 seconds, the suspect's vehicle was seen exiting Clay County. At 12:23 and 13 seconds, the suspect pulls into the Family Dollar located at 1282 Kings Road. At 12:24 and 15 seconds, the suspect exits his vehicle and enters the Family Dollar. At 12:29 and 54 seconds, the suspect exits the business and returns to his vehicle holding a small shopping bag and enters his vehicle. At 12:31 and 8 seconds, First Coast Security vehicle enters the parking lot and parked in front of the business. At 12:31 and 20 seconds, the suspect exits his vehicle as FCS or First Coast Security passes him and opens his rear hatch. Meaning, when I say his, I mean the suspect. At 12:32 and 35 seconds, the suspect removed what appears to be a small bag from the rear compartment, closes the hatch, and re-enters the driver's seat of his vehicle. At 12:36 and 43 seconds, the suspect opens the driver door but remains inside of his vehicle. At 12:38 and 43 seconds, the suspect stays in his vehicle and closes the door back. At 12:39 and 08 seconds, the suspect backs out and leaves the parking lot. Note, First Coast Security is still in the parking lot when the suspect leaves. At 12:40 and 57 seconds, the suspect turns from Myrtle Avenue to eastbound on Kings Road. Now I'm going to show you portions of the video of newly discovered surveillance footage which captured the shooter's movements at the Family Dollar and at Edward Waters University. Also, I'm going to show you previously unreleased footage from inside Dollar General. This footage shows Jacksonville Sheriff's officers inside the store after the shooter had begun his rampage. We also believe once those officers got inside is when that suspect decided to kill himself. That's the suspect there entering the store with a mask on his face. So you notice the reaction. A gunshot rang out. They were taking cover. That's when we believe the suspect took his own life. So our agency will continue to diligently investigate these horrific crimes so that we can better understand both what happened. Likewise, I will continue to update the public on any developments in this investigation. While this is a dark time in Jacksonville's history, these senseless acts of violence do not define this great city or the people that live here. This person was not from Jacksonville. In this shadowed time, I am heartened by the unity, resilience, and resolve that our community has shown. I want to thank not only the people of Jacksonville, but people across the nation for outpouring of a love that you have shown our city and the strong support in our city while they hurt. Thank you for supporting the deceased victims and the loved ones. Hate has no place in Jacksonville, and I've said that several times, and I'll continue to say that. And based on the outpouring of support I've seen in the face of this tragedy, and I know that we are more connected than we are divided. Now I'll take any questions that you may have.
Sheriff, does it appear that he was going to take action at the Dollar Tree and the security guard there impeded that, or was he just stopping to shop?
When I'm looking at it, it doesn't appear to me that he wanted to face anyone that may cause him any issues. So it looks like he wanted to take action at the Family Dollar. That's what it looks like. And he did not, because I think he got impatient and got tired of waiting.
So what did he buy there, or was it just a way to cover?
It's hard to tell. We don't know what he bought yet. The detectives are still going through all that stuff. This, like I said, this is unfolding. You know, they're unfolding all this information as the investigation continues to go on, and we're going to keep looking.
On the Dollar General, has that been turned back over to the business? Is it still actively a JSO scene at this point?
Do you guys know that? I'll get that answer for you, Scott.
Okay.
I'll get that for you.
And Sheriff, it appears obvious that he had already gotten back into his Honda by the time security showed up, so they didn't see the tactical vest, etc.
They did not. It doesn't appear they did. And I can tell you what helps me in this situation is that I don't believe, looking at that EWU was a target. You can see a vehicle, when you first start watching that vehicle, you can see a red vehicle sitting next to his vehicle. Two young African-American, looks like males, got in that vehicle as he was sitting there. So it gives me some comfort knowing or believing that based off what we saw, him stopping at the Family Dollar, him working at a Dollar Tree previously, and then him going to Dollar General, that was his intent the entire time. Why? Sorry.
The scene's been released.
Yeah. Why? That store? Still hard to tell. That scene has been released, Scott.
Any word on, it has been released. Any
Yes.
word on the manifesto? Is that something that would be released or not?
Yeah, it's going to take some time. So our FBI partners are going through that with a fine-tooth comb, as we are. We want to make sure that there's no other actors. We don't think that there are. But also chase the intelligence to make sure that there's nothing out there rising up from this. We don't think so, but my pledge to this community is to be as transparent as possible. So as soon as we get to a point where we can release that, we'll do it. May take a week, may take 2 weeks. It's going to take a little while, but we plan to do that.
Pretty quickly on Saturday, you had said you felt that he appeared to have acted alone. Was the evidence, is there a pretty preponderance of evidence that this was a kind of a lone wolf type thing?
Yeah, so there, in his writings, he indicated that he was by himself. He didn't, Scott, I'll tell you, he didn't like anyone. I mean,
What do you mean?
he didn't like, you know, you'll read, you read and you see things like, you know, he may say that someone he was all right with, and then later on he'll say something disparaging about that group of people. He didn't like government. He didn't like left or right, if that's what we're talking about. He didn't like anything. So I'm sorry.
Sorry. Have you spoken with his parents?
The detectives have, the investigators have spoken with his parents. I have not.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.